Hi guys, hope you're well. Today I wanted to do a chatty video just talking about festival anxiety and just feelings of anxiousness related to going to festivals. When festival season comes round, every year I see loads and loads of tweets from some of my friends, some of them strangers, going, yeah, it's festival season, I'm so excited, or I'm so happy festival season's come round again. And when I think about festival season and the fact it's that time of year again, I feel dread. I feel like stressed. I feel, I just feel almost, not quite, but almost that nervy feeling you have before something you're really worried about, like an exam or a job interview or something like that. People that are kind of more carefree, maybe confident, or don't suffer from any sort of anxieties will probably find that quite a strange reaction to a music event which is meant to bring joy. But I'm sure I'm not the only one, so I thought I'd talk about it today. And it's not that I don't have fun at festivals. I've had some of my best times ever at festivals. Obviously, amazing live music, some of your best friends. When the weather's good, it's amazing. Quite often the things we get anxious about are never that bad in reality, but the thought of them is always what's worse than the reality, and we kind of work ourselves up and we think about the worst case scenarios and the problems that might rear their heads during or before, or I don't know, people like me, I guess, go through loads of different scenarios in their heads and possibilities, which are generally like negative possibilities, and then you kind of psych yourself out of things and work yourself up into kind of a frenzy, and you find yourself dreading things that should be things that you're looking forward to. It's very bizarre. I guess in the last few years, the main reason for me finding festivals something to be anxious about is the work aspect. For the last few years I've done lots of interviews, so I guess Reading is always the biggest one work-wise, and I've done usually it's between about 18 interviews and 30 over the weekend. So you can imagine how much prep has to go into kind of getting ready for that amount of work, and then trying to juggle all the timings and everything that goes with that, making sure everything's charged, making sure your microphone's working, all that sort of stuff. It just adds an element of stress to the weekend. But because I'm not really doing interviews much anymore, that's not going to be a problem this year. But I'm still finding myself stressed. And I was trying to think, why am I stressed? Because I'm not doing that work anymore. So what is it that makes me so almost get to the point where I don't want to go? For me, I think it's the amount of people in one place. I don't necessarily think it's strangers that are making me feel tense. I think actually it's people I know, acquaintances, people I've liaised with via work stuff over the years, because in the guest area and where the press people are, etc., it's just full of pretty much everyone that I've probably interacted with over the last 10 years or so. And for me, that means the possibility for so many conversations, therefore so many opportunities for me to embarrass myself, say the wrong thing, do a wrong greeting where I accidentally snog someone when they're going in for a handshake, or accidentally, hit their crotch when going in for a handshake. Like, I'm so good at that sort of stuff. And for me, with that amount of people that I know well enough to say hello to, there's so much room for embarrassment, so much room for me to say the wrong thing, and then I'll be paranoid that I've upset someone, or I find myself always worrying that someone thinks that I've ignored them, or that someone thinks I didn't give them the time of day because I was in conversation with someone else and I didn't want to, be rude to them, so therefore I had to ignore them. I worry about all these sorts of things which the other people haven't probably given a thought to at all, but I'm so worried that I don't want to upset people, or people to think that I'm ignoring them, or people to think I'm being rude or unprofessional. See, this is what I mean. I just think about all these things that probably aren't even issues at all. And I'm someone that kind of, I like to slink through things unnoticed. I like to, just go through a crowd, not be Basically, I don't like being the centre of attention, and so quite often I will just walk through crowds of people, head down, and try not get eye contact with people, and then that probably comes off as being rude or standoffish, I don't know. So that's one area that I know I personally find stressful about festivals, because there's just so many people there that I should talk to. It's just a bit too overwhelming, really. I'm much better in smaller groups of people. Like, I like going out for dinner with just really close friends. I don't like going to big parties. So you can imagine a festival is a bit like, whoa. If you've got issues like IBS or any kind of health issues, I think you work yourself up as well, because you worry about how you're going to cope with the hours of standing on your feet all day, what you're going to do if the weather's bad and the grass is all wet but you really need to sit down. You worry about the queues with the loo. What if you don't make it in time and you have an accident? What if you forget your Imodium? Oh, all these things. So before I work myself up into a stew in this video and make myself not want to go to Reading, which I must go to because it is always one of the best festivals of the year. It's always a great one, so many good bands. But it got me thinking about other things that other people will probably find stressful about festivals, and I was trying to think of solutions, really, ways to make it less stressful for people. Ways that, you know, you can control your anxieties a little bit. And I think a good way is by planning things as best as possible. I know some people seem to get anxious about, you know, how to get there, getting there on time. Whenever I have to be somewhere by a certain time and that timing's strict, I always make sure I get the train before the one that's perfect for that time, so then if anything happens, I'm not going to be having a meltdown and a mad panic, because there's nothing worse than having to run to something, or, you know, particularly when you're carrying bags and stuff. So if you've got that little window, that kind of buffer, that will really help. Do your research. If you're driving, know that the traffic's quite often bad when Reading's on, so maybe leave extra early. Make sure you've got a route planned in your mind. That's probably best to do to avoid traffic. All that sort of... Oh, wait. Sorry guys, there was a salesman at the door. Now I've completely lost my flow. Oh, what was I saying? Like I said, identify what it is about the festival that is stressing you out, and then try and just work through it and just see if there's a really obvious solution to just make your experience a lot calmer, a lot less stressful. So if it's not the journey and the travelling that's stressing you out, maybe it's the thought of camping. Not everyone has gone to guides and scouts, and camping can be a scary thing for some people. You're worrying about which is the right campsite to be in, you're worrying about the loos, you're worrying about being able to sleep, about dodgy people, you know, coming into your tent, all that sort of stuff. So like everything, I just say do your research. There's so many forums online that tell you, you know, what camps deliver what. They tell you which camps tend to be quieter and which tend to be the party central camps. And, you know, speak to people that have been before, ask them what camp they were in and whether they found it to be okay, and bring home comforts with you if you want. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not doing it rustic enough, or you're glumping it up a bit too much. If that makes you feel happier and more comfortable, then just do it. If the prospect of camping is actually taking the joy away completely from your festival experience, don't worry about that either. There's plenty of B&Bs you can do for festivals. I don't bother with the expensive hotels or the chain hotels. I always go for a B&B, and they're absolutely fine and save you a lot of money. If just the whole prospect of going to a festival in general is intimidating to you because it's something you've not done before, it's new, it's unknown, just make sure you're going with people that you think will help you with that experience. The people that you feel comfortable with, the people that you feel like will look out for you, make sure that you're all right. Not to sound too much like a mum, but I don't want everyone I go with to be like mental and crazy. I want always to have, you know, someone that's got their wits about them, and someone that's like the organiser, you know, the person that's got their head screwed on and stuff. If you find yourself being anxious about, you know, I've got to see that band, there's no way I can miss that band, you know, make sure you've got your timetable written out, make sure it's laminated if that makes you feel better. Make sure you get there super early so you're not at the back of the tent, or that you can't get in the tent. just do what you can, so at least that's not something that you need to stress about on top of all the other things. Don't leave it too late to pack everything and get everything sorted for the festival that you're going to. I always find a last minute dash to get everything, a last minute, you know, packing situation just kind of enhances the anxieties and the stresses. So if you've got it all sorted, all planned out, or you can just do it in your own time. It can be a less stressful just process. It can be just a calm thing that you do. Have a list so you can tick things off as you go in. So you're not going to do that really manic check in your bag before you leave to check you've got everything in there. You'll know that it's definitely in there. And just bring all those things that you know will make your festival less stressful. If you know you're someone that worries about your mobile phone losing charge, bring one of those, you know, extra battery packs that you can buy these days, or those portable chargers. If you know you're someone that's going to worry about losing expensive things, don't bring them with you. Bring disposable cameras, or make sure you know someone that can keep it safe, or I don't know, just make sure you've taken all the measures you need to ensure that's not something you have to panic about every 5 minutes. If you have a tendency to get IBS symptoms, like I said earlier, make sure you're stocked up with Imodium, that you have pads with you and all those sorts of things, Diarrhea, whatever works for you. And I would say, you know, if you are someone that's a bit anxious, maybe don't have too much alcohol. I understand that a little might make you feel a bit more relaxed, but just don't go overboard. I know a lot of people actually get more anxious when they do those things, because then they worry that, you know, their behaviour's embarrassing, or that they've said something that's embarrassed them, or that they've done something wrong, or that people are looking at them. So you've got to find a balance there as well. Sorry guys, so the doorbell's gone twice now, the camera stopped working 3 times, and now there's a lawnmower. It's going really well. So I'm just going to wrap this up before I burst into flames or something. I know I've been going to festivals for 15 years or so, and you probably think, well, if you're anxious about it, then I should definitely be anxious about it as a newbie or as someone that hasn't been to that many, but that is not my intention with making this video. Nothing bad's happening that whole time. I know that these anxieties I have are largely irrational, but that's the thing with them. You can't necessarily control them. It's not that easy to just go, I know they're silly, so they're going to go away. It doesn't work like that. So I just wanted to make this video to say to other people that are feeling a bit nervous about it, that I understand. I get where you're coming from. But honestly, it will be absolutely fine. In fact, it will be better than fine. You'll have a brilliant time. It will be the best weekend ever, probably. Just make sure you do whatever you need to do to make the prospect of a festival less anxiety building for you. Just take those measures, take those precautions, take those extra bits and bobs with you, whatever it is that makes it seem less intimidating, less overwhelming, less scary, whatever, just do them. Don't worry if it makes you less cool or less of a festival kind of expert, whatever, just do it. If it makes it better for you, then that's the most important thing. But please remember, it will be all right. You know, whatever happens at a festival, there's always someone there that can help. If there's police there if anything happened, but you shouldn't need them. You know, you're very near to towns generally at festivals, so if you forget something, you can walk in and get it. There's cash machines if you run out of money. There's phone charging places these days as well. There's everything you need at festivals these days. They're not like they used to be. They really cover pretty much everything, so you really don't need to fret about it. So just, you know, try and gear yourself up to having a really good time with your buddies, with some amazing live music, some amazing experiences, and just have a good time. Make the most of it. So that's it really, but feel free to let me know below what you're feeling anxious about when it comes to festivals, or if you've got any questions or things that you want me to put your mind at ease about, you know, just feel free to put them below. But we got this, we'll be all right. So enjoy the rest of your festival season, maybe see some of you at Reading. Take care and bye for now. I've just realised I'm quite low in the screen now. Have I looked that pathetic for this whole video? I hope not. That's better, isn't it? Oh God.